So I've been working on this Plymouth Scamp here, trying to get it running, and I finally got it running. The engine compartment is pretty much done, except for I'm waiting for a vent canister, crankcase vent canister. But there's been a lot of progress here since my last video, so figured I'd make a new video. I got everything mounted, the wastegates, blow-up valve, made the new tube here, got the filters on, all the oil lines returned, pressure, wiring's all done. The coils though, I had these MSD LS1 coils in there with an LS1 harness that I got here, and there was no spark. I ohmed out the harness, everything, all the wires ohmed out really good, but no spark. So I switched out to the Holley harness and put the LS3 style coils in there, and it fired right up. It's so the wastegate exits, I just got kind of going through the fender out into the wheel well. Air conditioning's all plumbed in. The hoses kind of go underneath up to there, and then same with the water pump. The water pump has outlets on the side. Probably can't see them, I got them plugged there. On the side and on the bottom, so I got 90-degree fittings going out the bottom and then up to the heater core there. Fuel lines, there's how do I explain this? Fuel line goes into a Y block, and then there's two lines going in. Got two inlets, two outlets to the regulator down here, and then one return back to the tank. So the tank is set up with two pumps. So I got outlet 1, outlet 2, so this pump will come on as soon as I turn the key on. The second one I can program when to come on, if I want it to come on under boost or in a throttle position, or you know, whatever. And then I got the return here, and then the vent, and then they all go through bulkheads on the floor there. So I just plugged off the vents that come on the tank and just use this one here just as a vent. And then the battery's in the trunk here. And then on the dash, it's got the digital dash. Turn it on. All the gauges come up, and then you can program what gauges you want on there as well. You can see the fuel pressure. The pump just came on because I turned the key on, and it's right up to almost 50 pounds. When you crank it, it goes up to 60. And then the Holley Terminator X system, you can barely see it, but it's mounted down there. It's got little LEDs. And then the shifter, it's got electronic throttle body, so it's got an electronic pedal. And then the brake pedal goes down to the Hydro Boost. Then I got the wiper, air conditioning, and then I installed the vents in here for the air conditioning and stuff. So the dash isn't bolted down yet, because I may have to come out again to paint or clean things up. So I got to go under the dash there and kind of clean up the wiring a little bit. But yeah, it turned out pretty good. Not much room in that engine bay. You can see the exhaust goes down, and it kind of has to bend around the roll bar in there. And then this one too has to go, here's the roll bar is here, so it has to go in between the roll bar and the headers, and then also around the steering shaft. most people are gonna just end the video. Oh, he's taking too long. Whatever, I don't care. I'll show you the underside anyway. So here we got everything plumbed in. This is for the hydro boost, all the power steering lines going up to the rack and into the pump. And then you can see the coils are mounted here, both sides. And there's those 90-degree fittings off the water pump I was talking about. There's a flow direction. And then transmission cooler lines going right into the radiator. Oil return lines from the turbos. And then the feed line goes into there, just above the oil filter. And then it goes into a Y block here. And then it tees off to the turbos for the oil feed. And this is a hydro boost. Here's the brake pedal assembly. All the hoses come up to the pump and that. And then got the fuel filter here. Hydro boost assembly. The brake lines are all run. We got brake split and everything. Still got this hose is hanging down a little bit. I'll have to pull that tight, but. And here's all the fittings for the fuel. Here's the Y block for the fuel feed, and then one of them is return. And then I just put a filter up here for the vent so that the fuel, whatever goes out or into the tank through the vent, is filtered. And I got the tailpipes going out the back. I got tips for it. I got these tips here that go in there yet. But yeah, the original plan with the tank was to run the pump externally. So I had this sump coming through the floor here to run an external pump, but then we decided to go with the twin internal pump. So, and the brakes, she's all ready to go. Just waiting for a dry shaft. And so while I'm waiting, I'm working on my chopper here. You know, Triumph chopper, I got the new seat for it. Kind of mocking things up right now. Got the tank. I got to mount the tank, mount the seat. I got the fender mounted where I want it now. I just got to make some struts there. And I'm cutting off all the tabs on the chassis, on the frame that I don't need. And then, so that's what I'm working on here. I cut the fender because I was going to shorten it. But then I realized that I didn't want it that way. So I welded it back together. And then I drilled the holes here for the tail light. I'm going to mount the tail light up here. I have a sissy bar for it, but I'm not going to use it. The sissy bar mounts here, or the fender braces can also mount here. So I'm just going to make up a couple of fender braces there. And then this is going to have to be notched out here for the chain. And then I got the forward controls here. I mounted them. There's still one tube that has to go across there, one to the other, to make them a little bit tighter. Right now they're not too secure. They're just on those two tabs. But once I get the tube across, then everything's pretty tight and firm. So I'm also I was thinking about doing a suicide shifter on this, getting rid of this shifter part here, and then doing a suicide shift. I think that'd be pretty cool. But the thing is, the shifter is on the left side, and I want to put the suicide shift on the right side. So we're going to have to bring some kind of a linkage under the tank here, down to the shifter, and then up to the, or down to the transmission, and then up to the shifter. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty cool project, I think. I'd kind of like to get it going for this summer, but we'll see how it goes. And then I got the tank. I welded in a piece here to bring the tank further up. I didn't want it hanging too low. I wanted kind of the whole bike to just kind of flow. If the tank is low, then it just doesn't look as nice. Plus, the motor mount up here needs to be exposed to put the bolt in. If I drop the tank too low, then that would be all covered up, and then I can't see I don't even know if it would work. The tank probably isn't wide enough here to get past. But then it would be too close to the motor, and I didn't want that. I want to kind of show off everything. And yeah, so still got to take the front suspension apart and go through all that, and then strip it down, send the frame in for sandblasting once I get everything kind of mocked up the way I want it, and then bring it back here and then put everything together before it goes out for paint, because I wanted to make double sure that everything is the way I want it. The exhaust and the oil tank and all that, get all that plumbing and everything done, and then strip it down again, like not necessarily the front end, but just this end of it, just to kind of make sure that everything is the way I want it, and then it goes out for paint. And I don't know if you guys remember my Chevelle that I built a number of years ago. It had that candy burgundy paint on it. That's the color I want to paint this chopper. I got some paint left over, so I'm going to do the chopper in that color. And I made these bars. I just picked up some stainless tube. I shortened these. They were kind of way up, and then it had some big, goofy looking 70s style chopper handlebars that I don't like. They were too uncomfortable, so I just made this drag bar, and I think that's going to be a much nicer feel, and also a little bit more modern look with that tank. It had the peanut tank on there, which I think is ugly. Some people like that style, but it's just not my taste. So, and there's a bunch of stuff that's got to go out for chroming. I want to chrome the brake caliper, the forward control, these rods here, get that all blinged up. Yeah, the oil tank right now, the oil tank and the battery tray is one unit, sits kind of right in there. It's chrome, and I want to paint that. I want to get rid of that chrome, kind of make it a body color. And yeah, I got to go through the front brake. I don't even know if I want to use the front brake. I might just eliminate it, just keep the hub there. I don't know yet. A lot of people that run these choppers don't even run a front brake. But, and really, I don't even know if it does anything. I've heard the drum brakes might hold you at a stoplight if you're down, going downhill or something. But for actual stopping power, apparently it has none, so it's really kind of useless anyway. Yeah, so I got to fill the holes in the fender, weld up the fender, and there's a hole here. I don't know why it's there, but I'm going to fill that in too, just to make that nice and smooth. You can see the hole there. And then the headlight mount, I wanted to put it further down, but if I put it on here, then it's going to be bouncing around with the suspension. I don't really like it up there like that. It kind of, well, whatever. I mean, it's all right too, I guess. But yeah, I want to get this going for this summer and get on it. The motor is here on my dirty bench. I put new rings in it. I had to pull the heads off to get the motor out. I couldn't lift it out by myself with the head on. Plus, one of the tubes here, tube seals, was leaking a little bit, so I got a bunch of parts here to fix that all up anyway. But I took the cover off here and polished it. I got to take the other side off, polish those, and then clean it all up. Put it back in, and that's the easy part. The hard part is getting it in by myself, and then I got the head. Head here is all rebuilt. Everything's just got to be cleaned up again because it's been sitting around here for a while. And here's the taillight. This is the taillight that came with the bike, so I figured I'd reuse it. It sits up here, and then the wires run underneath, so it's a clean look. And I'm undecided on the exhaust if I want to use this 2-in-1 header that came with it, or if I want to do like a dual exhaust and put some mufflers on it, because this thing is annoyingly loud with that. Maybe that's a good thing. Choppers are supposed to be loud, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, this is a pretty long video, and I'm just rambling on here, so I'll just end it here, and you guys have a good day.